Originally in English, 2019. They are regarding cancer as if it were something that happened to someone, like breaking a leg because they fell off a ladder. Cancer, among other ailments, is a process, a chronic process that, if you don't remove the cause, you cannot cure it. It's like having someone constantly falling off ladders. No medicine, plaster casts, and titanium bone pins will heal the patient if he continuously falls off the same ladder over and over again. The body is all interconnected, but each place in the body does react to one or another problem coming from the mind. So if someone has an unconscious mental issue, they will get a problem, manifest a problem in the corresponding energetic area. Same for animals, as they are people, no difference, mental issues and all. When cells in the body find a healthy and nurturing environment, they will reproduce. But if they are immersed in a hostile environment, they cannot reproduce and they self-protect. They choose immortality. And that is a cancer cell. One that does not die naturally at the end of its cycle, as it is replaced by a new healthy one. So, as some do reproduce, and as they are also dying, but not in a normal process, they create a necrotic area that removes the oxygen from the area as blood flow is diminished. The body then sees this as an external object, and it self-protects, isolating the necrotic area into pouches called tumors. As with nearly everything on Earth, they have it backwards. Tumors are not the problem, they are the solution. The solution the body has to isolate the problem and contain it. And they have their mechanisms where they can then remove the necrotic cancerous area tumor when the cause is removed from the body. But what do humans do? They remove the tumor, with it spilling cancer cells, programmed not to die, all over the surrounding area, spreading the cancer, and depriving the body of its own healing mechanisms. Now, there are times when a tumor must be removed, like when it exceeds a certain size and it starts to compromise other organs, pinching blood vessels and being very painful as well. But mostly tumors must be left alone, and healing must take place concentrating on the issue that caused the problem in the first place. For example, stomach cancer is linked to a very visceral person, always fighting and also internalizing anger. But many times when it's not removed, like from the breast, that's when it spreads and grows. My aunt didn't have it removed. It grew all over and she died. On the other hand, when you detect it fast and remove it, people survive. My dad had it removed, burnt from his liver, and he's living. It didn't spread. My dog also didn't have it removed. She had it in her neck area and it was left alone, spread to the brain. Finally, she had to be put to sleep. The problem is still there. You have only suppressed the symptoms, perhaps, gained some time. Breast cancer is linked to metabolic problems associated with the consumption of processed food and the use of estrogen-mimicking substances, like the ones used in plastics, especially when microwaved. The tumor is the body's method of isolating the problem. If it's spread to the brain, it's not the tumor's fault. It means the tumor was not enough to contain the problem. Another thing is that the cause may make a tumor, but the cause was then removed by the individual when it stopped doing the behavior that caused it in the first place. So removing the tumor apparently solved the problem. May have even accelerated healing from the problem, but in the end, it's not the tumor's fault. It is what generated the need for the body to develop a tumor in the first place. This is the problem with the medical subjects. They are too vast, and this means hours and hours of explaining, and then a lot of bashing and challenging what I say from the public, leaving entrances for us to be attacked, making us even lose credibility, because I cannot give so much critical information by this limited contact method. And many things they will not understand. As with the energetic nodes and the connection with the body manifesting cancer in one area and not in another, based on the thoughts of the patient. The cause is always a mental energetic problem. Radiation and chemicals only potentiate the problem. That is a problem with animals, but they manifested that for themselves as well. No difference from humans. They are also people.
Cancer is complex. It cannot be generalized, but we could put it into two broad categories. Cancer is created by the intervention of a substance, and those created by the body. In itself, they have the same genesis. Again, it is a bodily imbalance caused by a toxic condition within the cells of one part or another of the body, which we can consider as a weak point, but which goes along with or is directly connected to the cause of the problem, and that cause is the external environment in which the individual lives, and more importantly, how that individual interprets the external environment. These are the groups of cancers caused by psychosomatic or emotional factors. Every point in the body, every organ, is connected to a form of emotion that is triggered by thoughts. The body is not made up of isolated organs, but everything is connected and functioning together as a whole. However, it does cause weak points where problems can be generated, and these weak points are developed by the individual's habits, especially the individual's mental habits. So they're very self-destructive, self-abusive thoughts, depending on the type of emotion, will create a condition in a corresponding organ or point in the body. What then happens is that a point of high cellular toxicity is created where the organs or tissue does not receive sufficient nutrients, oxygen, and overall blood flow, creating a condition at that spot that is adverse and toxic to life. So cell necrosis can occur in the area, or a state close to cell necrosis where the cells, being their existence threatened, will have only two options, either to die or to do everything possible to stay alive as long as possible. Isolated cells are like the smallest fragments of a body that still have the genetics of the whole. Do they know what to do? The programming is in them, the programming to take the necessary steps to survive. So when a place in the body is too toxic for the cells to proliferate and they face death, cell necrosis, they tend not to die programmed naturally with the natural cell replacement process, but remain alive, and by their perception of the threat, produce more of the very same as a method of preventing their death or extinction, which would cause the destruction of the entire tissue. When conditions are such that many cells are dying from the toxic environment condition, the living ones will enter into that cycle of staying alive as long as possible and any way possible. Then, the cells that did die will create a condition of even more toxicity in the tissue, accelerating the process. So the body, the cells, have a mechanism for isolating the dead cells due to the adverse environment, with low blood flow that almost always, if not always, accompanies this kind of condition. In an isolated pocket with scar tissue or fibroma, where dead cells and toxic substances that are causing the cell necrosis accumulate. Humans call these pockets cancerous tumors. And here is where human science has it all backwards again. The tumor is not the cause of the problem. It is the body's solution to that problem, because it is isolated dead cells from cancerous cells that do not follow the natural process of cell replacement, and toxins of all kinds present in the surrounding tissue, preventing the tumor from further spreading the cancerous condition. Then along comes the human physician and removes the tumors. This is not the solution to the problem. It only causes toxins to spill all over the affected tissue area, accelerating the spread of the toxic condition, and with it, the cancer. So, in almost all cases, the tumor should not be removed. Rather, the problem that caused the toxic condition should be treated, and the body, in turn, will absorb the tumor again, as it no longer needs it. The tumor should only be removed if it bursts, causing a mechanical problem for the area where it is located. For example, by constricting a large blood vessel, or causing a lymphatic obstruction, or causing discomfort in the patient. So the cancer is a symptom. It is not the problem itself. And the problem is almost always psychosomatic, created by the very ideas and bad habits of the individual, where he constantly abuses his own body, as in chronically exposing himself to stressed situations of modern life on Earth. And the artificial cancers with substances are caused because the latter create or emulate that same condition of toxicity at one or another point in the body, depending on how these substances were intentionally created, or because their chemical components interfere with the natural biochemical processes of the body, creating the condition of toxicity necessary for the appearance of a cancer at the spot. Although things tend not to be always so simple, a radical and profound change of lifestyle from the place where you live, the location, the climate, people around you, environment, food, work, living in peace, with happiness and daily motivation, and with positive hopes and plans, these are the most effective cures against psychosomatic cancers that are the most common. Also taking into account that cancer conditions can be caused by a combination of both factors. That is to say, the emotional factor is combined with the presence of a toxic element in the environment or food that promotes the appearance of cancer in the corresponding tissue. That in 3 lines, compressing complex processes into a few words. Seen from a broader perspective, it is a desire of the individual to escape his reality by means of self-destruction of the physical body, escape from oppression, and unbearable life by death, however dramatic it may be. Human medical science does not work. It only serves to alleviate symptoms, and rarely solves the root of the problem. So the only thing that human medicine is good for is for traumatic physical situations such as accidents, broken bones, and the like, and mechanical problems, but it is unable to solve systemic or metabolic problems.